Hi everybody, today I am here to do a beginning of a newer series for you guys. I'm going to be doing a series of videos about pregnancy, labor, and birth. So in these videos I will be talking about anything from books to classes to how we're prepping the older kids, how we're prepping the house specifically, those kinds of things. Today I'm going to talk about books that I've read that have helped for pregnancy and to get us ready for the labor and delivery and beyond stages. One thing I did remember from having previous pregnancies that ended early or from just doing a little bit of research is that I really did not like the what to expect. I felt it was very glossed over and I really didn't feel like a lot of the information was very accurate. And one of the books that got recommended more than once was this one. It's the Healthy Pregnancy book by Dr. Sears. Now it is thick. It is a big book, but it goes through all of your trimesters and it goes through healthy eating tips. It goes through different tests that they may want to run. It goes through a lot of different things and really focuses on having a healthy pregnancy or as healthy as possible. This book I really enjoyed. It goes through month by month and shows you how big baby gets, and it was a really good book. Like, it really covered all the bases. I felt like it was very accurate and I really enjoyed it. This was something that I reached for on a monthly basis. The second book I read was Ina May's Guide to Child Junkie. So when we got pregnant, I picked up this book and I read it cover to cover in days. So the first half of it is birth and labor stories that are all very inspirational and very open and raw and honest. And many of the women who wrote stories for this did have previous labor and deliveries that weren't necessarily ideal. So it was really nice to see that people's perspective change did really help change in terms of how their labor and delivery went and just the different experiences that went into it. The second half of the book talks about the physiology of labor and what really truly happens, things to expect, things that do go wrong, and what kinds of things can help. I found this book very helpful and I do continue to reach. After Ina May's Guide to Childbirth, I reached for Hypnobabies. Hypnobabies I was really drawn to because I have always thought that I would really enjoy a water birth and I want to go without medication. The people around me don't tend to support unmedicated birth, and anything that's considered even possibly a little bit hippie is just kind of a why would you do that kind of. So I was very much drawn to Hypnobabies because of the ideal that focusing on meditation and your breathing and focusing on getting through each contraction one at a time and the language that you use to really aid in an unmedicated, peaceful labor just really called to me. This book was very helpful to me. It's not particularly big. It's an easy read. It does go over the physiology of labor and it goes into a lot of the different breathing techniques, which you can also find on YouTube. And it also had a CD with it with meditation. There will definitely be aspects of hypnobirthing that I will likely gravitate towards and reach for tools in labor. After reading through Hypnobabies, I reached for Birth Without Fear, which I have on the Kindle. And I got probably a chapter or so in and I had a lot of trouble reading. It was written quite a while ago, so the language differences and just the way people spoke when it was written versus now is very different. However, I am a I'm a big reader, I'm a big lit person, so it wasn't necessarily the part of it that really didn't click with me was the religious aspect. And I have no problem with religion, but I'm not particularly religious. So a lot of the book focuses on religious aspects and getting through things, you know, with God, with Jesus, and it focuses on those kinds of things. And that was kind of hard for me to connect to. So I had a little bit of difficulty with that. I also did have some difficulty just getting through it. It was very wordy and it wasn't my favorite book. I did end up finishing it eventually, but it took me a while. There was some great information in the book and I really appreciated reading it, but it's not necessarily one I would recommend to everybody. After that one, I reached for Birthing from Within. The activities and suggestions of things to do in this book are really a book. However, if you're not going to do the activities, it's not going to help you much. Or if you're not taking it with a class that's going to do the activities, it's not going to help you much. The activities are good, and I did feel like they were helpful, but like I said, if you're not going to take the time to do those, don't. After that, I reached for something that was more for doulas and husbands, the people who are going to be with you. It is The Birth Partner. I figured this would be a great book for me to read, not just to solidify some of that physiology that's going to be happening, but also so that I could get a different perspective on labor and delivery. I'm going into most of these books from a perspective of I'm going to be the one going through the labor and delivery, doing the work. Nobody can do this for me. But this one, I went into it kind of from more my husband's perspective and tried to really get from it what things he would be asking or he would want to know, what things would help him when I am in labor. So I was really able to get through this book with more of a sense of what I can do to help him prepare for that day in terms of me. So I was really able to go through and think about different situations and the things that I know help me out, help me relax, what things might come up in labor and delivery that, you know, he might not know that I might have trouble. So this was a really great book. I really enjoyed it. And if I ever do go through doula training, it will obviously be a great one to have. The last book that I decided to read for labor and delivery was Mindful Birthing. Mindful Birthing is a lot like Hypnobabies in terms of focusing on breathing, focusing on techniques to have a peaceful and happy delivery. This book, however, is really great for even outside of labor and delivery. It really focuses on bringing you into a moment and bringing you into where you are at that specific moment. What are you seeing, hearing, feeling, all of the different senses, and then recentering yourself to be able to relax, to be able to take note, and to be able to get yourself through something even when it's hard or unpleasant, and possibly turn that around. Now, I have been using some of the techniques from this in my daily life, and it has definitely been helping. I have been trying to practice some of these with my kids when they're just going crazy, and I have noticed that it's definitely something that I am drawn to, that I am probably going to go back and reread and consider more of this kind of thing when trying to get through my daily craze. After labor and delivery comes breastfeeding. You have a baby, and I am dead set on breastfeeding. So knowing that a lot of people around me aren't necessarily super supportive or have not breastfed themselves, I knew I was going to need to take a class, and I knew I was going to need to read some books. Even though I have the general idea of what you do, there's a lot that has been lost in the fact that we don't live in these villages that everybody helps each other, and you see everything happening from birth to breastfeeding to diapers. I feel like because of that, a lot of people don't know a lot of what really happens in breastfeeding and how to work with various things that may come up. So I got 2 books. I got Ina May's Guide to Breastfeeding, which I just started and I am really enjoying so far. And it was recommended to me by a lot of people. I haven't read too much into it, but from what I have heard and am seeing so far, I really do enjoy it. It does go over the physiology of how things change in your breasts before and during breastfeeding. How to breastfeed, cues, things you may need to know, things that can go wrong, things that, you know, it's a breastfeeding book. It goes over pretty much everything from what I understand. And I'm really liking it so far. I think she's very honest. And though it's very obvious that she prefers breastfeeding over formula feeding, it doesn't come off in a very judgmental way. The second book I got was The Womanly Art of Breastfeeding. It was suggested to me by a couple different people. It is much bigger than Ina May's Guide to Breastfeeding yet, but I've heard really great things about this book, and I will update whether I do end up liking this book or not. Alright guys, there you have it. There are all the books that we have read, or I have read, for labor, delivery, and breastfeeding. PM me, and I will talk to you soon. Bye.